Hey YouTubers, today we'll be reviewing the beat tape Cenario. I think that's how you say it. Again, with this international, this one's French. I love the music, but y'all killing me with the titles. But anyway, this album is produced by the genius Flofilz. Now, this album is best played in a dark, smoky room, preferably a room that serves an old-fashioned with a bullet and an Amendola cigar. The first track opens with some unique tumbling bass that falls right in the lap of the drop. Then a sound that seems to be some sort of combination between a piano and guitar overtakes us immediately. At 0:44, notice how just the accompanying sounds are filtered and the breakbeat is given a chance to be highlighted. We usually see the inverse of this technique, so appreciate this initial rarity, but there are far more and more in store throughout this album. The only downside for me would have to be the oversaturated cymbals in the background. Maybe they have something to do with the sample, but a reduction or lowered volume would help clear the path for this great mood-setting track. Immediately at the beginning of STEEZYASF, you like that, don't you? We're drenched into classic representation of lo-fi hip-hop. This track contains all the elements from the classic breakbeat and heartfelt piano loops to the gritty, soulful cypher-type samples. At 2:55, we're given a nice breakdown, which then reappears again during the effortlessly flowing outro. Then, subsequently, Pastel continues digging into our fragile auditory emotions with its instant whining synthesizers and deep felt piano medley. But at 4:43, the saxophone takes our breath away with what almost feels like a short romantic story. With that said, it's time to grab those lo-fiology ears and check for how the saxophone is actually with us the entire time from start to finish. It softly plays deep into the background initially and slowly emerges to the forefront. Now its underlying presence is professionally highlighted during the breakdown from 5:26 to 6:02, where it profoundly emerges into single-handedly finalizing the beat. The next track, Brilliant, it slows down a little bit. And yeah, that was my accent. As it should, due to it being described as an interlude. I believe it's a well-placed interlude that you're gonna need to, during this warm-bodied beat tape, you're gonna need this to slow it down a bit. But even though it's slow, it's definitely not soft, thanks to the deep thumping bass. So take a little break and remember to chill as we hop through this lo-fi together. Following our interlude, we have Last Pastel. Thanks for that, easy one. The star of Last Pastel is, of course, the fervent piano medley that is precisely introduced alongside the opening drop of the beat. The piano is paired nicely as though it layers over the top of this bass. However, for me, equal importance should be shown to the unique layering of hi-hats, shakes, and cymbals that somehow magically transition into a static hold at times. This next track is Lights Off. So, Azul, which features Olivia Wendlandt of the group Relayin. It creeps in slowly, with volume effortlessly increasing, and our first encounter with the organically gifted Olivia takes place. You find yourself not knowing where she's taking us, but for some reason we find ourselves willingly able to follow her. Olivia leads us through the path least resistance right at 12:06, at which point the breakbeat increases right alongside the passionate persuasions of Olivia. And yes, I've been into the blue light over 100 times now. But it's just not us that are following her. Included in this convoy is a smooth rolling drum that rolls directly into the snare and cymbal to follow, as the beat, piano, and bass reverberate over the undertones of the track, which actually leads us into the nice piano solo at 13:20 that gently reduces our ear dependency from such an instant feelings of attachment. With a hard act to follow, Cabecera. Come on, man. Like, I'm trying here. Provides the listener with a calm moment to pause and enjoy some easy listening, which is then paired nicely with the second interlude titled Escuro. These filler tracks are nicely placed in the beat tape because they give us a chance to process what we have just heard and what will immediately follow, which is twosome. It includes the hi-hats in the beginning of the track as the piano gently falls in our lap of luxury. Then personally, one of my favorite drops to ever take place hits at 17:39. What makes it the best is how the gritty 90s rap samples are infusingly preceded by the record scratches. But just as nice is the insidious breakdown of the track at 18:28 when the horn loops play over the top of the filtered lap of luxury pianos. Then again, we see the return of Olivia Wendlandt of Relayen for Newcombe. Newcombe pulls us in initially with features of methodically rhythmic hi-hats and cymbals, which are blanketed by some light-hearted pianos. Olivia warms us up with the opening in perfect hesitating fashion, which is also a successful formula that's followed throughout the rest of the track. As the track drops in at 1947, the soft, subtle bass quietly leads for the hardest hitting hi-hats I've ever encountered. But at 21:56, the stuttering drums, followed by the piano solo, transitions into an adjoining track outro that is completely unique to the beginning. My favorite part is the brief tribal chant that takes place at 22:33. Jolly, next track, strongly gets right to it with the immediate piano hits and filtered drum kit. And nicely, the beat transitions with more prominence at 23:46, which introduces the storytelling horn loop. I've grown a particular fondness with the volley between the pianos and horns. These instruments seem to perfectly play off of each other, almost in comparison to a pair of talented competing twins. What I like most about the breakdown at 24:08 is that the pianos sound as though they are buried underground and desperately attempting to still be heard. Oh, and yes, that sweet, sweet ending. Thank you. And that ending effortlessly transforms into the gritty jazz band breakbeat track perfectly titled Jazz Chains. The track features everything we've come to love and stand by as lo-fi enthusiasts. From the classic juke joint piano and flute combination to the ever familiar breakbeat drop at 26:37 that is masterfully accompanied by the illest sample from Nasir Jones. Nas' sample adds depth to the story that this beat is elusively but prolifically trying to get across to the listeners. Now at this point, Ruamarelo and Taxi Bossa. Now these offer a couple of easy filler tracks to listen to, but I particularly like the ending of the first song that I mentioned. But Sesta, which is the next track on here, gets us back on track to the raw jazzy cuts. Then Barrio Alto takes the album into a magnificent orchestral hop showcase. The violins immediately draw the listening audience in, but the gliding emotions of the piano provide us residency and comfort in this beat. At 36:06, the bass has an opportunity to take the forefront, which leads us into the fake ending at 36:39, which thankfully was not the finale and allows us to enjoy the beat for about another minute. Slightly less, but still enjoyable. Now, as we wrap this up, my favorite track is Azul, featuring none other than Olivia Wendlandt of Relayin. Yo, I'm better than I thought at this. If I messed it up, just let me know if I messed it up. But you saw how hard I tried, though. You saw that from the heart. Least favorite track was Ruamarelo and also Taxi Bossa. Them being the filler tracks, but still, on any other album, probably would be the best. So the artist that provides this work of art is Flofilz. The beat tape, hope I'm saying it right, Cenario, and it's brought to us by on the STEEZY. It was it was sent out 2018 under the genre lo-fi hip hop. Now I rate this album a 9 out of 10. I believe that this is one of the, I would say one of the roots to like a lo-fi tree or garden, as you say. Like, this is a classic, will go down in history. You can always go back to it. You can play it from start to finish, is what makes a classic masterpiece to me. Everybody, nice dope tracks here and there sprinkled about, but when you play start to finish, it goes down in history. So thank you for this piece of work. Now, if you don't mind, let's grow this lo-fi community. Show a little bit of love to that subscribe button. Tap the notification bell, select all so you don't miss out on the latest lo-fi reviews. If you like this review, please click the like button so these lo-fi reviews can start to be seen by more future lo-fi enthusiasts. Also, feel free to leave a comment below and let me know what beat tapes you'd like me to review or even what to stay away from. So as always, peace, love, and lo-fi, y'all.